I've never been to Paris, I've never been to France, so maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but it seemed really stereotypical. Hey, this is Megan in the restricted section. I'm going to be doing my July wrap-up today, which I guess it's already a week into August, but I was pretty busy, so I'm doing it now. Deal with it. I read 7 books in July. Most of those were for the readathon that Sue and I did, so this might be a short wrap-up because I've talked about a lot of these before. But the first book I read in July was not for the readathon. Arrow by Taryn Fisher. And I did a review of this book. I wasn't impressed with it. There was a lot going on with it, and some of it was just really weird, and just kind of seemed strange that it was put in here. Some of it was like so weird that it was kind of over the top, but yeah, this is like a suspense, kind of a revenge slash vigilante justice type deal. I wasn't, maybe like a thriller. I don't know, I wasn't super impressed with it. So I think I gave it, let's see what I give it. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. So I'll link my review below if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, I wasn't super impressed with this one. The next book that I read in July was the book for my book club. And that was Furiously Happy, a funny book about horrible things by Jenny Lawson. I gave that one 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, but it got a little bit tiresome in the middle, I think, because she's really rambly, and a lot of times that's really funny, and this book definitely made me laugh out loud quite a bit, but yeah, toward the middle I was kind of like getting tired of it, but yeah, it's just kind of Jenny Lawson talking about her struggles with her mental illness, and also her decision to live like a furiously happy life where she, the moments where she's actually happy may be few and far between sometimes. So when she has those times, she's going to just do it, like go big or go home. So I really liked how kind of honest and authentic she was about her mental illness, but like I said, it kind of bogged me down in the middle there with all the rambliness. So yeah, 3 out of 5 stars for that one. And then come the books that I read for the booktubeathon, I think is what it was called. Readathons are really hard, and this one was really challenging because there were, I think, 7 challenges, and the goal was to read like 7 books in a week. So I managed to read 5 books and accomplish 6 of the challenges. And I wasn't overall, like I didn't stick to my TBR, first of all. And then secondly, I wasn't like super thrilled with the books that I did read. I think I liked 2 of the books that I read for booktubeathon, 2 of the 5. So the first one that I read was Froom by John Lymington. This was one of my library sale books, and I got this on Dollar Bag Day, and I got it because the name of it is Froom, just to be honest, and I thought it would be like funny, like bad funny science fiction, and it was bad, and at some points it was so bad it was funny. So I guess it was exactly what I expected, so I really can't complain about it. But yeah, it involves time travel. This guy, this doctor's experimenting with being able to send people to other times or other like alternative realities, and so he does that with this like kind of playboy adventurer friend of his, and so it kind of talks about that guy's journey. And then there's this whole like parallel plot going on where it's entirely possible that the world could end and there could be like this apocalyptic society, post-apocalyptic society going on if certain things don't change, and the man who gets sent to this alternative reality or different time or whatever, he has the potential to change that and change the course of events of the world. But yeah, the writing in this was so bad it was funny, and it was really sexist, which I guess is understandable. This book was written in the 60s. But I was going to mark all the passages that were so ridiculous that they made me laugh out loud, and I had to stop because just in like the first 22 pages I had already marked several passages. So let's see if there's one I could read in here. How about this part? Suppose this was indeed the deciding point as to whether he proceeded to some heaven, the like of which he had probably never been imagined, or to some hell, more easily envisaged, now that he knew he could feel just as he had before. Some hell of burning skin, of aching thirst, of searing cold, terrifying tortures, and beautiful women, sans vagina? The whole book is like that, so yeah, it's kind of terrible sci-fi. I rated it, what did I give it? 2 out of 5 stars. It was exactly what I expected it to be, so I guess maybe I was a little too hard on it. Alright, so the next book that I read, and Froome accomplished the challenge of read a book that's older than you, so that's why I read that one. The next one that I read was The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I read this one for read a book by your favorite author, and then read a book to film adaptation, and then read and watch it. So I've already watched 2 of the Hobbit films, so I figured that this would count for that as well. I loved The Hobbit. I don't know how I hadn't read it before. I absolutely loved it, and this version is a really like beautiful version of it. It's annotated, so there's all kinds of cool like little notes and tidbits in here. There's also like different artwork that Tolkien did, and then that others have done. There's artwork from the different international versions of this. This was just a really, really cool edition. This was also one of my fiance picks from that video, if you guys remember that. This was one of the books that I picked to read, but yeah, here's just some of the cool stuff that's tucked away in there. Yeah, I loved this book. This is probably my favorite book I've read so far this year. So, and I gave that one 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was Bad Marie by Marcy Dermansky. This book was the one that I read for Read a Book Only After Dark. I thought it would be appropriate. This book was pretty miserable. It was like a really bad soap opera. Basically, this chick gets out of... They use the terms jail and prison interchangeably in this book, and they're not the same thing, and that irritates the fuck out of me. But anyway, so this chick gets out of prison, and her friend hires her to nanny for her child, for her friend's child. So, she does. Her friend catches her drunk and naked in the bathtub. She's taking a bath with the child, who's like very young, like 2. Naturally fires her. So Marie gets angry and decides that as revenge, she's going to fuck her friend's husband. Ends up running off to Paris with him and the child. They run into a former paramour of his on the plane to Paris, end up staying with her. He ends up fucking the former paramour in front of Marie. She takes off with his kid and basically just goes off with his kid. And to be fair, he did kind of abandon them. Like, he left them in a hotel room and never came back, and so she didn't know what to do, so she took off with the kid. But yeah, just like a really bad soap opera, and I felt like a lot of the stuff, like, the dude in it is French, and then they end up in Paris, and I feel like a lot of it was really stereotypical. Yeah, not a good book, but it was a fast read. It was just utterly ridiculous. So I gave this one 1 star out of 5, because I hated every single character in it, and I found the plot just outlandish and absurd. The next book that I read was Day of the Operatic by Vladimir Sorokin, translated by Jamie Gambrell. This is a Soviet dystopian novel, and it is indeed very strange. I still don't know how I feel about it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. But it's basically like a day in the life of this guy who's in like the Russian like secret service kind of. It's their job they deal with a lot of political figures, and if one of the political figures does something against like their king or whatever, then they take care of it. There is a rape scene in this, and typically if a book or a movie has a rape scene in it, I won't finish it. But I did finish this. I don't like that I had that in there, but it's part of the story. It's part of what happens. But yeah, and like the way that they talk about women is not overall positive, but I think that's the way it's supposed to be in this world. But, and then there's a really weird like gay orgy scene in the end, toward the end, which, I mean, that scene's consensual, so whatever, that's cool. But yeah, this was just a really strange read. It was really, really weird. So there's lots of drug use in it, lots of debauchery, if you will. But yeah, really strange. I don't know. I don't have an opinion about it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because that's my neutral rating. So. And then the last one, the last book that I read in July was called The Pint Man by Steve Rushin. I got this on Dollar Bag Day 2 at the library sale, and I bought it just for the fact that it had a beer on it. And there's like this, the back has like coasters on it and stuff, and it's called The Pint Man, so I thought it might be kind of cool. I didn't hate this book, but it wasn't really, it's not something I would have read probably if I hadn't had picked it up at the library sale. It's kind of like a dude rom-com, which is kind of weird, but yeah, it's about this guy who, he is unemployed. He spends a lot of time at this like local dive bar. It's his, you know, it's his hangout, and he, you know, decides that he wants to get his shit together and wants to find a lady and all that fun stuff, and so he does. And it's kind of about that relationship and its ups and downs and mishaps and things like that. So what I liked about this book is that they mention a lot of literature in it, and they talk about a lot of different beers and bars, and I really enjoyed those two things. The main character is a little bit pretentious sometimes with his like quoting of literature and correcting of grammar and all those things. He's kind of irritating at times. But yeah, I liked the beer and bars and books aspect of this book. But yeah, as far as like, I'm not typically into romance things or rom-coms, so that wasn't really my style. But overall, yeah, I didn't hate this book, but it wasn't really my thing. So I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So not too shabby. Yeah, like I said, I've talked about a lot of these books in Sue and I's BookTubeathon wrap-up video, so it might be a little bit redundant, so sorry guys. But I did read 2 books other than the ones I read for BookTubeathon, but then life kind of kicked my ass toward the end of July, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to read, so sorry I haven't been more active around here, but I think I'm back on track now. So if you've read any of those books I talked about, feel free to let me know what you thought of them. I'd love to hear about it. But yeah, that's it for me for today. So there are links below where you can find Sue and I elsewhere on social media. And if you are not already subscribed to the restricted section, you should probably do it. It's probably a good idea. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!